Okay, it is Tuesday, March 4th. We've got yesterday's slate to cover, NFL news to cover, more Yankee injury news. This is the Early Game Podcast. Listen to the show in the mornings on your commute, whenever and wherever, so you can be a part of today's sports conversations. Let's go. Okay, let's start with yesterday's slate. So, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is having a phenomenal season. The Thunder are just running away with the West. And so SGA dropped 51 last night. The Thunder beat the Rockets 137-128. Again, they're cruising through the West, having no issues at all. They're 11 games up in the West. And so it is going to be smooth sailing from here on out. That was their 50th win last night. And again, there are so many teams this season in the NBA which are possible pretenders in my mind because they're not doing it in a flashy way. And sometimes you need to do it in a flashy way. Especially come playoff time, you need guys who are going to grind you down and perform on another level. But SGA is doing that this year. He's actually minus 550 right now to win MVP, so he's running away with that. Jokic is actually second there. I believe he's plus 350. So SGA is running away with the MVP conversation. So we're talking about the Thunder team. As I just said, they're still kind of on pretender watch. They have the MVP candidate, the leading MVP candidate at the moment. And so do that with that what you want. There clearly are contenders in the West and to win the finals. A great team, a great story. Also in hockey, we didn't speak about this. The Blackhawks debuted Spencer Knight last night. He was part of the trade for Seth Jones, where they sent Seth Jones off to the Florida Panthers. So Spencer Knight, he's a young goalie who was blocked up in Florida. And so now he goes to the Blackhawks where he will be the number one goalie. He had 41 saves. The Blackhawks won 5-1. I talk about sports being better when specific teams are good. So in hockey, when the Blackhawks are good, hockey's just better. It's better when Chicago is good. And we didn't speak about this Seth Jones trade. The rich get richer. This Seth Jones to the Florida Panthers is great for them. They're looking to make it 2 in a row, have a great team. They're the second seed in the Atlantic Division, and they're going to look to make another big run. And they made this they added this piece in order to make a run like this. Okay, let's move on to the NFL. And so yesterday it was reported that the Jets are going to outright cut Davonte Adams. They're not going to be able to find a trade partner for him. And there is a good chance that they end up cutting Davonte Adams, letting him do his thing, and figure out what team he will play for next. We could take a lot of different angles with this. One is this Davonte Adams trade was NFL malpractice by the Jets. Doesn't matter what you traded for to get him. It didn't work. The Jets weren't good. Davonte Adams, frankly, didn't really do much. This isn't a shocker that the Jets are going to move on without Davonte Adams. That's simple. Why would they want to keep him in a world where Aaron Rodgers was the only reason he wanted to be a New York Jet, and pretty much the only reason why he wanted to be on the East Coast? And so now you wonder, where does Aaron Rodgers go? And is it as simple as, is Davonte Adams going to follow Aaron Rodgers to wherever his new home is? look, we're at a point in Davonte Adams' career where he is not the same player that he used to be. Especially in those earlier years with the Green Bay Packers. He's 32 years old. He sort of missed a step. And so if you're him, you're thinking strategically, where do I want to go? What kind of team do I want to go to? Do I want to go to young quarterback? Maybe. Now remember, the Deebo Samuel thing went down so fast. But the two teams that were linked to him the most were the Commanders and the Texans. Stephon Diggs' contract is up there with the Texans, and so they might be they might be looking to add another veteran quarterback. Maybe Davonte Adams is a fit with the Texans, with Houston. Again, I'm talking about a world where Aaron Rodgers and Davonte Adams are not playing for the same team next year. I actually think that right now, as it stands today, Aaron Rodgers' most likely next team, in my mind, the way it's positioned in my mind is that the next team he will play for is the New York Giants. I think that's what makes the most sense now. That is where there's the most mutual interest. And so in my mind, he's going to be New York Giant. The question is, does Davonte Adams want to stay on the East Coast? Is he so hell-bent on playing with Aaron Rodgers? Or is he going to try to explore other options? It's not like he's never played without Aaron Rodgers. He played several years without Aaron Rodgers with the Raiders. Maybe the 49ers take a stab at Davonte Adams. Not such a bad idea for them. Add another veteran after trading away Deebo. Maybe that gives them a wiggle room to go now and trade Brandon Ayuk if they can go sign Davonte Adams. But I think that there are good options. There's good optionality here for Davonte Adams. And the reason why is because, just as I said about the Texans, young quarterbacks are going to want a guy like Davonte Adams. Teams with young quarterbacks are going to want guys like that. Are going to want Davonte Adams, a veteran wide receiver who helps the transition for young quarterbacks. It could be that one of the teams who draft Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, maybe that's a spot for Davonte Adams. Maybe he waits it out to see what happens after the NFL draft and then goes to one of those teams who might be looking for some sort of way to help their young quarterbacks and add weapons around them. The Browns, for example, if they decide to go with one of the two, won't be the Raiders. But that brings us back to the Giants, right? Because we're saying that the Giants are in the conversation for Shedeur Sanders. They're in the conversation for Cam Ward. And so say they go the route of drafting one of those two guys and then signing Aaron Rodgers, which has been very much a possible scenario where one of those two guys sits behind Aaron Rodgers for a year or two and learn behind him. And so you're telling me, it makes sense for the Giants to go out and add Davonte Adams at that point, right? Because you have Aaron Rodgers who wants Davonte Adams, and you have young quarterbacks who could use veteran pieces helping them a year or two down the road. And so if Davonte Adams is looking for a long-term deal, that's the kind of thing that you'd want, right? You'd want him to be paired up with young quarterbacks. And so it'll be interesting. And I mentioned it before. The Niners, Brandon Ayuk is another guy they're looking to trade. So now we're taking kind of a look at this wide receiver market and how it's developing out. Uh, you know, who's going to be interested in these two guys? Clearly the best available options. Stephon Diggs is available, but those two guys right now are healthy and probably your best two options at wide receiver on the open market. We shall see which direction Davonte Adams goes. But right now, I would say, just as the Giants are the favorites for Rodgers, intuitively, it seems like, in my mind, it seems like Davonte Adams would then also follow suit and go to the Giants. And then we have a great storyline here in New York, where it is so cold, by the way. I'm so ready for the weather to turn. My goodness. Okay, let's move on here. We have another NFL story. So, NFL Combine happening, and one of the main intrigues is that Travis Hunter is there. He's great, Heisman winner, but the main storyline when it comes to Travis Hunter is that he plays both sides of the ball. And media is exploring this. Teams are trying to decide what position he's going to play. And so yesterday, someone decided to ask him about being compared to Shohei Ohtani, who obviously plays two different positions in baseball. So they were comparing Travis Hunter to Shohei Ohtani. The quote was, and he was asked which one is more difficult. And Travis Hunter says, probably me. What I do in football, because it's a lot on your body, you know? Ohtani, he's a great player, but you've got to do a lot in football. Oh. You know, when I was in high school, my geometry teacher, when students would act out, he would count to 10 on his fingers, and he had a pretend pill bottle. This was probably inappropriate and should not have been allowed. But he had a pretend pill bottle under his desk in one of his drawers. He would pretend to take a pill, and he'd count to 10 on 10 fingers, and then act all calm after he was already upset, as if that was some anger management tool. So I'm trying to do that right now. 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to do that right now. I'm all calm again. I'm trying to do that right now after reading Travis Hunter's comments. Are you kidding me? I know you're at the Combine. You don't need to continue talking yourself up. We get it. You're very good. And Travis Hunter, I love you. I think you are a great, great, great player. Nothing you do even comes remotely close to what Shohei Ohtani is able to do. You know, Chad Johnson went on First Take yesterday. Chad Ochocinco. He went on First Take and he said the two hardest things are hitting a baseball and pleasing a woman. What Shohei Ohtani does are two opposite skill sets, and he is at the top of both of those skill sets. It is almost as if he is playing two different sports. Travis Hunter, I'm not trying to take anything away from you. You're running routes on offense, and then you are running routes along with an offensive player. You're trying to read his routes, but you're running routes again on defense. You're doing the exact same thing. Is it tiring? Yes. I won't take that away from you. Your endurance level is better than Shohei Ohtani's. Hand up. Much better. You're in better shape than he is. You're in better cardiovascular shape than he is. I would not take Shohei Ohtani. And actually, Shohei Ohtani happens to be obviously be very good. He had a 50-50 season last year. Running-wise, I'm saying. Travis Hunter, you are flat out wrong. Flat out wrong. Saying a wide receiver and a quarterback about playing two different positions is like saying I play first base and catcher. Different, but pretty much the exact same skill set. I'm sorry. Again, better cardiovascular health, sure. You are not, what you do is definitely not more impressive than what Shohei Ohtani does. Not even close. And it's not even just that. I mean, first of all, get to the NFL first. Show us that you do it at an elite level at both. Then we could start talking. Ohtani's actually done it. He's been the best pitcher. He's been the best hitter. He's broken records. Go out there and break the records and show that you're the top at doing both. Man, what a crazy comment. I can't even believe that. I get it. Again, I said this when I started talking about this. I get you're at the NFL Combine. You want to talk yourself up. You want GMs to think that you're the best and you're going to change their franchise, blah, 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 blah. We know that. You just won the Heisman. It's obviously very impressive, and you did both at a high level. Don't get me wrong. You are a receiver and a cornerback at high levels, both sides of the ball. What you do doesn't even come close to what Shohei Ohtani does. You're not even in the same breath as Shohei Ohtani. Kid, play first before you say that. What you do is you come out professionally and you say, look, Shohei Ohtani is a phenomenal player. I hope to be able to be as good as that when I play both sides of the ball. I hope to impact my team the way Shohei Ohtani does, in the same way. I hope that the first year with my new team, I could win a Super Bowl the same way Shohei Ohtani just did with the Dodgers. There, that's your answer. That is your professional answer. You look great to the GMs, and you don't sound like an idiot. My God. I get these kids are young. But think a little bit about what you're saying. Shohei Ohtani is an all-time baseball player. He's one of the greatest of all time. And then you're saying that what you do is more difficult than what he does. Not a good look. Okay, let's move on. We're moving on to the NBA now. Now, everyone was up in arms about this. The Mavericks yesterday announced that they're going to be increasing season ticket prices for next season. And obviously, this comes weeks after they traded Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers. Man, I am at a loss of words. And when I saw this, I was at a loss of words. Is it a loss of words or a loss for words? Probably a loss for words. I'm so dumbfounded by this that I'm almost starting to fade the haters and say Nico Harrison was right. He made the right move. He made the right trade. This is going to work out for the Mavs. It was a good thing that they traded Luka. I'm almost on that boat. That's how crazy this is to me. That's how much it makes no sense. It is so much so that I'm starting to think that I'm just the crazy one. And I need to join the other side. I need to do it before it's not cool anymore. I'll update you guys in a few days. I might be switching over to that this was a great trade by the Mavs. Just to fade everybody. Just to fade everybody. Okay, let's move on. We had 2 baseball injury news from yesterday. Sean Murphy is going to be out of the Braves, is going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. He is experiencing a cracked rib. And so this is a Braves team right now which is trying to stay healthy. Obviously, they had significant injuries last season, both with their starting pitching and with their lineup, and this is not off to a good start. You need your players to be healthy. They obviously lost Max Fried in free agency, and so they lost value there. Ronald Acuna Jr. is coming off another injury. Michael Harris is coming off another injury. Matt Olson didn't have the season that, he was having over the last couple of years. And so this is a bad start for the Braves, who, look, on paper, the Braves are a top team in baseball. As a Mets fan, I dread the Braves. Dread them. That being said, injuries are mounting. And this is going to be an interesting NL East. It really is. 3 of the top teams in the National League are all out of the NL East. You have the Mets, who already have 2 pitchers down. The Phillies, who were so quiet over the offseason. No major moves. But so far, no major injuries. And then the Braves. And the Braves might be the best of all 3. It is going to be a fascinating season when it comes to the NL East. I really don't know what to expect. I really, truly do not know what to expect. And then we move on to the Yankees, who finally got their news that they were waiting for. Luis Gil is going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. He won't throw for 4 to 6 weeks. He has a high-grade lat strain. You never like to hear high grade. High grade's not great. The reigning Rookie of the Year, AL Rookie of the Year. And look, this is what the Yankees went for over the last 3 years, right? They signed Rodon. They signed Max Fried this past offseason. They obviously have Garrett Cole. So Luis Gil slotted in as their number 4 starter, probably the 3rd best starter in their rotation. But then and then I think Clark Schmidt comes in on the back end. But now, we spoke about this yesterday, now Marcus Stroman slots back in and has another chance at getting a rotation spot here at the Yankees. And ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why rotation depth is so key. Again, take a step back for a second. What you're looking for as a general manager of a baseball team is, how can I fill quality innings? And so having these guys who can pitch quality innings is massive. And you have a guy like Stroman. Look, Stroman is not a guy who you can send down to the minor leagues. So that's what makes Stroman a little tricky. Because if you don't want to put him in the rotation, you have to put him in the bullpen, or you have to trade him. Not to bring this back to the Mets, but what I love about the Mets is, and what I love about David Stern's strategy in general, is he signs these guys who he can just stash in AAA and who can give somewhat quality innings. And so they had the Mets, for example, had Frankie Montas and Sean Manaea go down, but now they'll have these other guys who could fill in who could fill the void there. And so the question is, first of all, the Yankees who play for October, is this going to hurt them? How much will this really hurt them? Luis Gil being out for probably April and probably May too. Just what it's going to take for him to ramp back up after being out 4 to 6 weeks. So he's out, let's say he doesn't throw until 2 weeks into the season. Man, we're already so close. 2 weeks into the season, and then probably another 3 to 4 weeks of ramp up. Probably looking at a late May, early June return. So the Yankees should be able to make it that long, especially in a weak American League. Now, I think that some people are underestimating what the AL East will be able to be. I think the Red Sox are going to be phenomenal, but I don't think any team will run away with the AL East in that amount of time. And so this ultimately ends up being for the Yankees probably a sigh of relief that they only lose Luis Gil for this amount of time. Remember, they already have Giancarlo Stanton who's going to be out. So they're missing big pieces from both sides of the ball. And again, let's just wrap this up nicely. In a weak American League, it is not going to matter too much that the Yankees have one of their big pitchers and one of their big hitters who are going to be missing about a month or two to start the season. Who knows with Stanton, but at least for Gil, he's going to be missing a month or two to start the season. Okay, that's a show. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe on YouTube, follow on X, follow on Spotify. This is the Early Game Podcast. Have a wonderful day.